What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And this one is the ending of the show Pixar Soul Explained. There will be spoilers, so if you have not seen this, go take a look at it first and then come back. But if you have, let's get into it. What's going on, family? Happy to be back with you to analyze this movie and break down the ending to the movie Soul. A really deep movie for a cartoon movie, and if you have not seen it, again, please go and watch this movie, especially if you're having problems in your life personally. I think that this movie touched a deep spot in my life because I have dealt with this issue numerous times, and I think that many people have. And they don't just give you surface level of this, they do delve deep into it, and I would like to applaud the director and the writer for that. So without further ado, let's get into the movie Soul. But before we do, if you can, please subscribe and click that bell, because the more subscribers I have, that means YouTube is more likely to suggest this video, and also hit that thumbs up, because the more engagement I have, YouTube is more likely to suggest the video. Alright, let's get into it. So Joe Gardner is a music teacher for a small school, and he does not exactly like what's going on with his life. In fact, he knows exactly what's going to happen and what he's going to be in his life, and that is he's going to play jazz professionally and break through into the music industry. And then he finally gets his shot to do so with this woman, Dorothea Williams. Now, before all this, every time Joel tried to make his shot to do it, he always had a door slammed in his face. But this time during the audition, Joe slams it out the park, and he winds up getting the gig. Now, while he is on his way home celebrating that he just got this part, knowing that this is the dream that he always wanted and it's about to come true, he did just have an offer to become the full-time music teacher, but that's not what his soul truly wanted. He wanted to be live on stage, performing in a band, and his dream was just about to come true. Unfortunately for Joe, he's so high on this fact that he's not paying attention, and after a few mishaps with almost dying, he does fall down a manhole cover in Lower Manhattan and then dies. At this particular time, his soul is taken and he is supposed to enter the great beyond, but he buys himself some time when he winds up where it all happened before, the great before. And it was in this location that he buys himself some more time by becoming a mentor to another soul named 22. Now, 22 is a soul who refused to embrace the concept of living. Now, 22 has had many mentors before, and they all could not get this soul to embrace the concept of living. In order to live and jump inside of your body on Earth, you have to fill out your full badge, and you have to get that last spot on your badge, which is your spark. And they think at this particular time that your spark is your reason for living, which could be cooking, which could be cleaning. Joel's reason for living was playing music, and that's why he was so desperate to get back to his body, because his chance was just about to start, and he wanted to take 22's badge and live his life again. But after they go on an adventure so that they can jump back into his body, Joe does not make it into his body. He makes it into a cat, and 22 makes it into Joe's body. While inside the form of a cat, Joe does teach 22 that life is worth living. He does not do this willingly. He does this while 22 is in his body, and 22 then discovers that, flowers smell pretty good. The sun on your skin feels pretty great. Pizza and other foods taste really good also. Now, when Joe screams on 22 saying she never found a purpose, and the only spark of life that she ever felt was his, because she was in his body, and it was his passion, his inspiration for playing music and jazz, that was his purpose for living. That's all she felt was his purpose, not her own. But what this movie teaches us is that you may have a passion for something, but that one passion should not be and is not your reason for living. One thing is not what keeps you going and wants you to get up every morning. And this is explained to them by one of the Jerrys, who says basically a spark is not a purpose. It's a naive rabbit hole many souls fall down to think they exist for one reason. And by doing this, by Joe trying to push this on 22, this is how he fails 22 as a mentor ultimately. See, Joe realizes this because when he finally does get his chance to play with Dorothea Williams, what he believed to be his inspiration for living, playing jazz music all the time and going into the zone while he's playing, and she offers him the job, he realizes that he'll be stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again. When he asks her, what do we do? And she's like, we're going to play again, the same stuff. I keep trying to put in 22's head that life is only about one thing, one purpose. Not saying that he did it intentionally, but this harmed 22 more than any other mentor ever harmed her before. This leads 22 to give in to all the cynicism and all the harsh words that she's heard before from teacher and mentor over and over, that truly crushed this young child's soul by their words. Well, really crushed this young soul, because it's not a child, because it's not inside of a body, but it has a voice of a child because it is a young soul. You know what I'm saying. So Joe does return to the zone, joined by Moonwind, and he rides a giant hippie pirate ship in a place called the Zen. The Zen is a place between the physical and the metaphysical realms. He does this simply to find 22 and to fix 22 and tell him everything that he's learned himself. Now, when Joe enters this dark void that she created, he sees other zombies, and zombies are souls that are lost to their one obsession. This is what he would have became if he would have joined that band. This is when he sees all the other disgusting and cruel things the other mentors of 22 has said to her time and time again over the years, which led her to believe that she just wasn't good enough to live a normal life. And it's at this moment when Joe clearly sees his own failures in his own life and how he failed 22. This leads him to finally break through to 22 and let her know that she has everything she needs and give her inspiration that she needs to live a life. And by doing so in his own way, he saves his own life. He gives her her badge back and then jumps off with her into the world, but he knows that he can only go so far because he doesn't have the badge, and this is going to cause him to have to forget about his own life by letting her go and live a life. After accepting the fact that he did live a life and happy with the fact that he lived a life, the Jerrys do come to him, impressed with the way he mentored 22, and say they're going to give him one more chance at life and for him to watch where he's walking. But right before he goes back to take his old body again, one of the Jerrys asks him, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And this gets him to respond, I don't know, but I'm going to live every moment of it. And I think that is what this movie is trying to tell people, that you can't be obsessed, number one, with one thing. One thing does not make a life. It's the little things, the mundane things, the things that you take for granted every day that make life worth living. And yes, you may not achieve every dream that you had set for yourself, but there are other dreams that you can achieve. And by Joe being a band teacher, he may not have achieved his dream of being a musician like he wanted, but he inspired somebody else to become someone in the band, to have their own inspiration, to have their own spark. And being a teacher is more fulfilling than it would be for him to be a musical instrument player in the jazz band and do the same thing over and over again. He could touch more souls by being a teacher than he can just living what he thought was his dream, but truly wasn't his dream, truly was his obsession. Now I myself have dealt with that many different times in my life. I was doing a lot of rap music and I was always so close to making it. Just like Joe, I had so many close chances to make it, and something always prevented me from getting over that hump. So I always thought that, hey, my life wasn't worth living. I was a failure at really what I wanted to truly do. And in all honesty, I still struggle day by day, time after time, with this fact in my life. What could have been if I would have did this? What should I have done to make it happen? But I've truly moved on for that, and now I'm on YouTube. And again, you get the same doubts that creep in your mind. Oh, can you get to 100,000 subscribers? Are you a successful channel if you never reach 100,000 subscribers? You deal with that. So this movie helped me out a lot, and I hope it helped you out a lot. And again, if you want to help me out, please subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And please leave your comments in the comment section, and let's continue the conversation. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.